Good day everyone, we are the Alpha Group. We are going to discuss about the psychoanalytic theory. Psychoanalytic theory, the theory of personality organization and dynamic of personality development that guides psychoanalysis, a clinical method for treating psychopathology. This explains human behavior and crimes in terms of interaction of various components of personality. People's unconscious brains, according to the psychoanalytic viewpoint, are mostly responsible for significant disparities in their behavior styles. It emphasized the importance of the unconscious in the motivating human behavior. According to the father of psychoanalysis, Sigmund Freud, the existence of crimes can be explained by conflict of three parts of human psycho-personality, which is id, ego, and superego. Most particularly, the id and superego that explained in the next slide.
So there are three set of concepts in psychoanalytic theory that describe the activities and interaction of the mental life of a person. First is the ID. When we say ID, it is the very immature components of our personality. It's operate only on the pleasure of principles with no regards with anything else. When we say IDs, it is about the unconscious parts of our psyche in which it directly responds to our basic needs and desires. It is a primary process of thinking, so it is a primitive, irrational, and illogical. One example of this is Paul is walking down the street and he feels so very hungry. He only has an ID, so when he sees an apple pie falling in a window, he takes it for himself. The second one is the ego. When we say ego, it is the moderator between the ego and superego. It operates on the reality principle. It makes the decision that dictate behavior. The ego also considered social realities that include norms, etiquette, rules, and customs when it makes a decision on how to behave on the society. It seeks to delay gratifications of the ID's desires until appropriate outlets can be found. It uses secondary process of thinking to avoid negative consequences from the society. So one example of this is when Paul ego will tell him that he would not take the pie from the window shell, but instead he can buy it from the local grocery store. The last one is the superego. When we say superego, it is about our morals, principles, and ethics. It considers the social standards for social behaviors and guide us on what is right and what is wrong. The superego begins to develop at the age of 3 to 5 years of age. It is mostly shaped us by what we have learned as young children from adults. Eventually, we accept this training as a part of who we are. We put these pressures on ourselves to live up to how we think we should behave. For example of this is when Paul is walking down the street and he is very hungry. He only has a superego, so when he sees an apple pie falling in a window, he does nothing, but his superego tells him that it is someone's pie and that it's not acceptable to trespass on someone's property and take their pie.
So as I continue, many psychodynamic theories focus on the development of personality, in which an individual personality is determined by internal events and conflicts that are unconscious. In other words, the unconscious mind has a significant impact on personality development. The study of psychodynamic psychology has offered an explanation of personality development and how it is affected unconsciously during childhood and social factors. Reflecting on Freud theory of personal development, he believes that personality is developed through stages during childhood. Freud believed that a child personality is developed through the gratification from the ID, ego, and superego. Similar to Freud theory of personality development, Melaine Klein suggests that personality are developed through a mother and child relationship. In essence, the relationship in which an individual established with other also play a role in shaping personality development. It is the external factor which help and shape an individual mind to others within the environment that builds from internal factors.
Sigismund Freud or Sigmund Freud was born on May 6, 1856 in the town of Freiburg in the Austro-Hungarian Empire. He was the first child of Jacob and Amelia Freud, and would be followed by two brothers and four sisters. So, Mr. Freud is most known as the founder of psychoanalysis, and he developed a set of therapeutic techniques centered on talking therapy that involves the use of strategies such as transference and free association in dream interpretation. And an Austrian-born psychiatrist greatly contributed to the understanding of human psychology in areas such as the unconscious mind, sexuality, and dream interpretation.